What up, Golden Cuppers? It's your boy, two B's, two C's, cream cheese, here with the 2021 Golden Cup Dynasty League mid-year report. I know y'all wanted that. All of a sudden, we find ourselves 9 weeks into a 14-week regular season. Don't forget that extra game this year. But that puts the regular season 65% over. The biggest 35% is about to unfold. Let's get it. We've seen the young players emerge to greatness already this year, and we've seen some old players show that greatness can stay for quite some time. All in all, it's been a fun year. In terms of the GCDL, the top two teams are starting to pull away, and neither one of them spent heavy this year. They beat up that mid-range, those 30 mil players, and they got those to hit. Now, neither one of these guys has won a championship yet, but they're both positioned to make a run here in 2021. All in all, three teams can feel like they're in the playoffs as of today. Three teams I'm considering out. And then the other six teams are fighting for the final three spots. But enough of the math. Hey, let's talk about the teams. As far as in, my number one overall squad, it's the Pulverizer. Who we kidding, guys? He's riding an 8-game winning streak, boasting 154 points per game. That's a lot. We're halfway through the bye weeks. He's led by Cooper Kupp, who has 50 more fantasy points than the number 2 receiver, Tyreek Hill. 50! That's stupid. That's a lot of points. Not to mention he's got Mike Evans, CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson. That's 4 receivers in the top 18. Also, Eckler and Herbert, his LA Charger connection, and they haven't disappointed either. Shout out to Pulverizer. Did not have him making the playoffs. And sure enough, here he is crushing the regular season so far, off to a pulverizing start. My number 2 team, I got Lawyer Up. He's 6-3, 145 points per game, and he's got DeAndre Swift and 4 receivers that have all scored over 130 points. We've seen a trend here. DJ Moore, Brandon Cooks, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper. So a different kind of cast than what we've seen before. And let's also keep in mind, no Russell Wilson for almost a month now, and that dude's back next week. So, he's already been able to survive the big injuries and the little injuries. He's got James Robinson, and he's supposed to be coming back next week. So, already got that 6-3 record, solid team. DeAndre Swift looks really, really good. So that could be the kind of young legs that help carry him, because I think he's poised for the best fantasy scoring here in the weeks ahead. Finally, the third team, the definite in, these nuts. Let's get it. 149 points per game. Hey, what's not to like about that? Also, keep in mind, nobody else in the division is over 130 points right now. So even if these guys hit some type of a losing streak, the tiebreakers still look really good, and the division doesn't look that great. He got bit by the injury bug as well, but just like Lawyer Up, they survived. King Henry, David Montgomery both went down, tore up his running back group. Terry McScorin, hey, he's doing well. Mike Williams, a little slumpy, but doing well overall. Those guys lead the team? Probably not, but Montgomery's back tonight, and the Bills' Josh Allen can definitely lead the team to a championship. So those are the 3 teams I have definitely in. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here today. As you know, the families did ask for me to speak on their behalf. As we look at it tonight, 3 2021 franchises in the Golden Cup are about to be buried. And as we put them in their deathbed, we just wanted to kind of look back, recollect, see the good times, not many, think about the bad, but we'll sum them up. And so without further ado, I just would like to send our condolences to Beechwood Lane Bench Press, the 2021 edition. They just never quite got off the ground. No Saquon, that 115 points per game, that's not beating anybody. Lamar and Sutton, those guys will be back, but he was doomed from the J.K. Dobbins pick and never bounced back. But, I don't think anybody really saw these guys doing much this year. Home division, you know me, I'm a star power kind of guy. I'm a Lamar kind of guy. I'm a score a lot of points kind of guy. So I'm going to go with Beechwood Lane bench press. So here's your 3 division champs. Sorry for that interruption. Had a little echo there. Um, Finally, the second burial for the 2021 franchises goes out to Family Phil. Unfortunately, Family couldn't make it to the draft, but did pop off to that 2-0 start, and we thought, boy, here he goes, and then he lost 7 in a row. He improved with the trade, but that just hasn't translated to wins yet. With no McCaffrey, he had no shot. I'll have AJ Brown for only 10 mil heading into next year, but for this year, he's no longer with us. Finally, the one we weren't quite sure was going to make the list. We're looking around. We had to double check the register, and unfortunately, yes, the 2021 franchise, Don Meyer Ford. That's right, buried. The Chiefs and Seahawks got a slow start, and that was a killer to his own fantasy performance with just 129 points per game so far. When Chris Carson got hurt, Mike Davis did nothing. He had nothing from the running back position. Add in a Mahomes down year. Ouch. Don Meyer Ford does have Family Field next week and a formal elimination match. While both are buried, it will be fun to watch these deceased franchises go head to head in the zombie match. With the KC bye in week 12, there's no way he survives even if he wins the zombie match. I'm sorry. Don Meyer Ford, 2021 franchise, you're buried. Cheers. Better luck next year. And now the party time. Now we've got that in between kind of area. We've got 6 teams fighting for just 3 slots. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 6 teams and how they got here. First, J Mac, baby, 5-4 with 144 healthy points per game. That's nice. And his team is Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor. Now, shout out to him, though. Excellent draft pick. Way to lock him up. After a bit of a slow start, JT has completely taken over. Man is looking strong. I think he's the number 2 overall running back right now. Looks really good. Matthew Stafford. Hey, I know he had a down night last night, but overall, it's a high-powered Rams offense. Multiple touchdowns each and every week. All kinds of offensive firepower there. And it all starts with the quarterback position. And then out on the edge, I'm going to go Deebo Samuel. He's getting all the points I thought Brandon Ayuk would get. But shout out to you, man. Hey, Deebo is putting up numbers right now. Deebo, give me that. The number 3 fantasy wide receiver in the Golden Cup Dynasty League. So shout out to J-Mac. Can't forget about Darren Waller, your million dollar wonder. So overall, the strong points per game, hey, be there, hanging in there till the end. I like it. Poised to make a run. Looks good. The next team, let's go Hamburg Hopheads. 5-4, only 131 points per game, but plenty of weeks left to see that kind of fluctuate up and down. This team is led by the running backs. Najee Harris has come through like we thought. James Conner had a huge day yesterday, and then while Edwards-Helaire went down, he got the other Kansas City running back to fill in. So great job with the handcuffs. And then let's not forget about Dak Prescott, who's been big time in fantasy before. His wide receiver is not quite as strong as the other positions, but Chris Godwin, big time player. I love me some Bobby Trees, aka Robert Woods. So both of them are definitely in big time offenses, just like what we saw with obviously Stafford, but not exactly the alphas. With that said, these guys have super high floor. So like each and every week, I mean, these are pretty much guaranteed to get 10, could pop off at 25. Next up, Warriors out west, baby. Let's go. Dub City, up to 5-4 now, despite the 1-3 start and 1-4 actually. So won 4 games in a row, 145 points per game. Studs are coming through, even though none of them are really my keepers. So The keeper contracts look good, but those guys are not even starters. Shipped A.J. Brown off. And then T. Higgins and Ayuk have been riding the bench, but the Warriors got two of the top six wide receivers with Jamar Chase, Cordero Patterson. Who? Yes, Cordero Patterson is back. He's a receiver, and he's actually the number 6 overall fantasy receiver. Warriors also got two top 5 running backs with Kamara and Mixon. If you want to talk about depth, 5 out of the top 25 running backs. Also, let's not forget Kyler Murray, bum ankle, Jalen Hurts. We'll see what happens. Either way, Warriors got the wins they needed. Now is in position to go ahead and look good to make a run with that kind of depth. Up next, I cannot hate on the prime time players. On draft day, I thought this team really looked good with the star power they had. Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, hell yeah. And then what they really needed was the receivers to step up. Well, guess who did? His receivers. Hollywood Brown, not only is he Mr. Big Play, but now he's consistently Mr. Big Play. That's surprising. Keenan Allen has been as consistent as we've seen before with still the big plays. Both are top 17 wide receivers. And then Carson Wentz at quarterback, who you kind of look at draft day or something, maybe out of the waivers afterwards, and like, what's he going to do? Well, he's going to do good enough. And that's kind of the story of the way the quarterback position goes in fantasy a lot of times. So let's not ignore the tight end position. He's locked in Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, I think, is now the number 2 overall fantasy wide receiver. But, he's only got 129 points per game. That's primetime players. So I think just down the stretch, he's going to got to win those close games. He's got a 6-3 start, so that's a couple game lead over a lot of the guys that are in the same group of 6 that I have here. So as long as they win a couple of those close games, PTP is definitely going to be playoff bound. Up next, I've got the Donkeys. 4-5, started hot, hit a bit of a cold streak, but then got a win this week, so finally snapped that. 4-5, 143 points per game, very respectable. And they have the number 1 overall fantasy scorer, Mr. Old Man himself, Tom Brady. That's right, Tom Brady is the number 1 fantasy scorer. Can you believe it? Devontae Adams crushing it. And then he's got the young guys, Justin Jefferson and Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb looking like $100 million player out there. So the squad is locked and loaded. These guys look like they're likely headed to the playoffs. How many slots do we have? I don't know, but they look good. Finally, that 6th squad, I've got Hookers and Blow, 4-5, 129 points per game. Oof, come on now. So, right about, I would say, on the edge, but got to, ready to make a run. And these guys are talented. Still got the Packers with the 2 AA runs, Aaron Vaccine Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Kelsey's the number 1 tight end, Stephon Diggs, and let's not hate on Michael Pittman, the number 10 wide receiver in fantasy right now. Shout out to the Indy Colts for that. That's been a big time difference maker when you get those outside guys filling in to be top 10, top 15 kind of guys. Speaking of outside filling in, he needed Myles Gaskin to fill in an RB2, and he's done just that. We're still waiting on Allen Robinson. Maybe he shows up tonight in the game. I don't know, but even without it, he's got plenty of guys that have put him in a good position to get to the playoffs and make a run. But we're being quick about it. I like the big 3 to get in: Lawyer Up, Pulverizer, these nuts. With the 3 wild cards, I think it's going to be close. Some have points per game advantages. Some have win-loss advantages already, but we've got, 5 weeks to go, so a lot to really unfold. And it could be those weeks where a kicker or a defense helps or hurts you as you win or lose by, 5 or 7 points. But if that's going to be the kind of year, I kind of like guys named T-Bass, so I like the Warriors. And if we're talking Bass, I like the Donkeys. And then while we're at it, I like the prime time players. But from there, who knows what's going to happen. But best of luck the rest of the way, boys. Like I said, we've got 5 weeks left of this regular season. So enjoy every bit of it. It's your boy, Cream Cheese, Warriors Out West, Mile High Tie, Bengal Tyler. Holla at your boy. Peace.